Hello guys, good morning everyone. And we continue the topic, male reproductive system. In the last session, we had discussed about primary sex organ, that is internal structure of the testis. Now, class is about secondary sex organs. First, definition. Secondary sex organs never be meant for gametogenesis. Means gametes will not be produced in any of these structures. Means other than gametogenesis, it can do. They may do conduction. Conduction means transport. Ducts and glands. See, here the glands are accessory glands. They also do nourishment. Main part of the storage is ducts only. The secretions of gland helps them in maturity. Maturity of gametes. See here, you have observed different functions. For the thing, this is the conduction but not gamete production. This is the storage. Function number 1 is conduction, maybe storage, maybe maturity, and maybe nourishment. All these 4 are the functions of secondary sex organs, but except one function, that is gametogenesis. Now, what is accessory duct system? The first thing I am discussing about accessory duct system. From the production to the ejaculation. Ejaculation means release. Okay, ejaculation of gametes. Where gametes are produced, primary sex organ, there is no doubt. Nothing but in case of male, that is testis. Where gametes are ejaculation by penis. It is called male external genitalia. External genitalia. So from this side to this side, how the sperms are being conducted. Meanwhile, they have storage, they have maturity, and they have functional maturity and all. This entire path goes to duct system. Understand? The path where sperm starts from its production area to ejaculate area by accessory duct system. What is the path? Let us see. Before knowing about this path, one should understand that longitudinal structure of the testis. If you see, this is a testicular system, and here so many lobules are present. The testicular lobules, there are 250 per testis, and inside seminiferous tubules are present. There are 2 to 3 in number per one lobule. For here, for time saving, I am taking only one. Seminiferous tubules is the place where spermatogenesis is begin. Then this part means if this is the seminiferous tubule, this is the ending of seminiferous tubule. This is called tubuli recti. Tubuli recti, very important. Tubuli recti is the first part where sperm's conduction began. This one. And this tubuli recti and this one, all the tubuli recti are connected with its adjacent seminiferous tubules like this. Then network of all these are called retitestis. Retitestis is a network-like structure where sperms are leaving from the testis. So this is network. Here sperm will be produced, the sperm will come like this and it will be travel like this. So this network-like structure is called retitestis. So tubular recti to retitestis. Reti means network inside the testis. So that retitestis is the second one. Understand? Now from the head of the testis, there will be a cap-like structure will start, and this part is called epididymis. Epididymis. Epididymis is a bag-like structure from which sperms are coming out of the testis. So, from the testis, small tube-like structures, they are called vasa efferentia. Vasa efferentia. So from second to third one is vasa efferentia. Vasa efferentia is the third place where sperms are passing through in accessory duct system. From the vasa efferentia they enter to epididymis. I can say epididymis is fourth part. Till now any doubt? Sperm produced here in the wall of seminiferous tubule. The sperm starts its traveling through tubular recti. Then the sperms reach to the retitestis. Network-like structure in the testis is called retitestis. From the sperms start this traveling to reach the vasa efferentia. Vasa efferentia are small tube-like structures. They are 15 to 20 in number. From each testis, they are leaving out of the testis into the epididymis. If you see this epididymis, in the epididymis, there are three parts are there again. This is called caput epididymis. Caput epididymis because it is a cap-like structure. And this part is called body, nothing but corpus epididymis. Corpus epididymis. And this part is called cauda, C-A-U-D-A. Cauda means the tail, epididymis. These are the three portions of the epididymis. If epididymis is the fourth part, this is 4A and this is 4B and this is 4C. Okay, once the sperms enter into the epididymis by vasa efferentia, the sperms will be stored temporarily in the epididymis, mainly in the caput epididymis. Sperms will be stored temporarily. There they will get functional maturity. And in caput epididymis also sperms will be stored. There also they will get maturity. In cauda epididymis, the sperms are leaving out of the testis towards the abdomen. For this, I need to take another picture. So till here, the path of sperms, if you write path of sperms, you see, first is tubular recti. Tubular recti to retitestis, retitestis to vasa efferentia, vasa efferentia to vasa deferens. In vasa efferentia to epididymis. In epididymis three parts are there, whatever. Epididymis to vasa deferens. Vasa deferens. So this is the first part, second part, third part, fourth part and fifth part. See, sometimes in NCERT tubular recti was not mentioned, then the retitestis will be the first part. Okay? Now, this is the entire testis structure and this is epididymis. The clear picture is there in above. Isn't it? Then how the vasa differentia starts? Vasa difference. This is how vasa differentia goes on. Vasa differentia is a long duct which carries the sperms from testis to abdominal area, through abdominal area to urethra. See here, one should understand that if this is a urethra where urine is passes through, this is the urethra. Urethra is a common passage for both urine as well as sperms. Compared to the female, the male urethra is longer, which is about 20 to 24 centimeters. Whatever it is coming from, this is the urinary bladder. This is urinary bladder. Okay. Then in the urinary bladder, ureter comes and opens into it. They are coming from kidney. They are ureters. Ureters. Okay. Ureters are bringing urine from the kidney. Urethra is a common opening, as I said. This is a common opening for both sperms conduction as well as urine passage. Then you see vasa differentia we are talking about, right? This vasa differentia coming across the ureters and join here into the urethra. This conducting system is outside the testis so that we can call up extra testicular duct system. Understand? Here what happens actually, seminivesical ductus glands will be there. Actually I am discussing duct system. In the duct system, why I am mentioning the glands? Because that gland and this duct have association. So right now you must understand that what is the relation between the two glands. See here, this is a seminal vesical gland. Seminal vesical glands are here, they are present either side of the urethra, below the urinary bladder. From this, there will be a duct coming. Okay, like this, both the sides. I am explaining only one side. Understand? Isn't it? Now, this duct and gland duct, both together, join. And what is this? This is seminal vesicle. Seminal vesicle. Seminal vesicle is a gland. Then what is this? Seminal vesical duct. Then what is this? This is vasa differentia. This is also called sperm duct. Sperm duct. So vasa differentia is joined with seminal vesical duct and form another duct is called ejaculatory duct. Ejaculatory duct. Understand? Then this ejaculatory duct opens into urethra. The sperm is traveling out of the testis, coming through epididymis, then vasa deferens, then ejaculatory duct. Ejaculatory duct, where it is connected to the urethra, there is a swollen structure is called ampulla. Ampulla. Ampulla means this is the duct and it will connected to the urethra and this like structure. Here also sperms will be stored temporarily until ejaculation. So sperms will be stored temporarily, this area. Okay. In ampulla, sperms will be stored temporarily. Epididymis also, sperms will be stored, but their functional maturity they get. In ampulla, last time before ejection, they store. But this time they never get any type of functional maturity. Then from the ampulla, they comes to urethra. This is what? Urethra. Urethra. They conduct to urethra and last opening is urethral meatus. Urethral meatus. So if you see what are the sperm conducting parts here, so we have discussed so many parts, that are 5 parts till vasa difference. Vasa difference means sperm duct. Sperm duct. Vasa difference to next duct is ejaculatory duct. Ejaculatory duct. Ejaculatory duct to ampulla. This is the path. Ampulla to urethra. Urethra to urethral meatus. Urethral, yes. Then release out. This releasing is called ejaculation. In case this is released into the female reproductive tract, then that might be called insemination. So, in the part of male reproductive accessory duct system, we have seen entire the journey of sperm from its production site to releasing site by accessory duct system. In that, first one is tubular recti, second one is retitestis, third one is vas efferentia, fourth one is epididymis. Vas efferentia opens into epididymis. Epididymis opens into sperm duct. Sperm duct opens into ejaculatory duct. This is the 6th part. And ampulla, 7th part. Urethra, 8th part. Urethral meatus, 9th part. So these all are 9th part is the opening. If you see that 8 parts, 8 different ducts are there to conduct the sperm from its production sites to release inside. All together is called male reproductive accessory system. Here another important point I am going to clarify here. How long sperm is a travel inside the testis, that is called intratesticular duct system. That I will write. Intratesticular duct system. Intratesticular duct system means where to where? Tubuli recti to vasa efferentia. Sperms are traveled inside the testis. Means inside the testis sperms are traveled, then that is called intratesticular duct system. Intra means inside. From where to where? Tubular recti to vas efferentia. Then what is extratesticular duct system? Extratesticular duct system. Extratesticular duct system means sperm conduction outside the testis. Means epididymis, vasa deferens, ejaculatory duct, ampulla, urethra and urethral meatus. So, epididymis to urethra, the sperm's conduction is called outside the testis. Outside the testis. So, the concept is completed. Male accessory reproductive system ducts divided into 2 parts according to the path where sperms are traveled inside the testis and outside the testis. Inside the testis called intratesticular duct system. Outside the testis the sperm's journey is called extratesticular duct system. So by this I can say accessory duct system is completed. Now second part, that is accessory glands. Accessory glands. Accessory gland systems of male, human male. Here you can learn there are 3 types of glands are there. You just see, I will give you the representation by the diagram. This is urinary bladder. Urinary bladder. And this is urethra, urethral meatus. Then below the urethra there was a gland called prostate gland. And already you have seen here there was a seminal vesicles. Here one, here one. The seminal vesicles are opened by the combination of vas efferentia. Like this. What are these? They are called seminal vesicles. Gland number 1, seminal vesicles. Seminal vesicles are paired and located beneath means below beneath the urinary bladder and either side of urethra. Either side of urethra. And the seminal vesicles contribute 60% of seminal plasma. This seminal plasma consists of phosphate ions, prostaglandins. Prostaglandins are the hormones. They help in the sperm motility. Citric acid. Major amount of semen is produced by these seminal vesicles. They are one pair nothing but two. Whereas another glands, if you see, below the urinary bladder, there is a single large prostate gland is present. Prostate gland means if it is the urinary bladder, it is present like this. Don't think that there are two. They are at the base of urinary bladder. This is urinary bladder and this is prostate gland. Prostate gland. If you want to learn some points about the prostate gland is a single and large. It produces 30% of seminal plasma. The seminal plasma consists of some enzymes and citrate ions and phosphate ions, etc. And major thing is here 30% contribution and here 60%. Both together 90% of contribution. Okay, almost all. Then this prostate gland is present at base of the urinary bladder. Where it is present? Located base of the urinary bladder. Okay. Now, third type of glands. Here, small glands, they are called bulbourethral glands. Bulbourethral glands. Why they are called bulbourethral glands? They are small bulb-like structures. First type of glands are seminal vesicles and second type of gland is prostate gland. Third gland is bulbourethral gland. Bulbourethral glands are smallest and paired. Located either side of urethra. Either side of urethra. They contribute less than 1% of semen. Mainly they secrete mucus that gives lubrication. This mucus is alkaline in nature. Nothing but base. Okay. All these three glands secretion together called seminal plasma. I will tell you. Prostate gland is about 30 to 40% of secretion and seminal vesicles 60 to 70% and bulbourethral glands. Bulbourethral glands also called membranous glands. They are just membrane-like structures. They are less than 1%. All three together is called seminal plasma. Okay, seminal plasma, which is a neutral. 7.2 is the pH of the seminal plasma. Seminal plasma from the glands plus sperms. Already they have been conducted from the production site towards the ejaculation site, that time sperms and seminal plasma together mixed is equal to semen. This is semen. Semen means seminal plasma plus sperms. So semen pH is this one. Okay. Now semen is per day or per ejaculation. You can say per ejaculation. 3 ml to 5 ml of semen per ejaculation, means one ejaculation or insemination. This 3 to 5 ml of semen consists of 200 to 300 million of sperms. Million of sperms will enter to the female reproductive tract in case of insemination. Okay, then the sperms, for the sperm structure and all, I will tell you in the next class how the sperms are produced. Sperms have a flagella to motile to reach the fertility center. This is how accessory gland system helps the male reproductive system. Firstly, we have discussed male accessory duct system. Now, accessory gland system. Accessory gland system functions: nourishment, nothing but motility, existence of sperms. Sperms, once ejaculated, 2 days or 48 hours, they can exist or live. After that, they will be degenerate. In case they enter female reproductive system, within the 48 hours or 2 days, they have to meet the ovum if it is present in the oviduct. Then fertilization happens. Now, the last thing is male external genitalia. Male external genitalia. What is the function of male external genitalia? Male external genitalia is also called penis. This penis helps in the ejaculation of the sperms. Ejaculation of sperms by its erection. Let us see the structure of the penis. This is what the urethra. Length of urethra I already told you, that 20 to 24 centimeters. End of the urethra little burst and have a opening. Okay, urethral meatus, that is. Either side of the urethra there was a bundle-like muscle structures. Bundle-like muscle structures are called corpora cavernosa. These two are called corpora cavernosa. They are smooth muscles. They are present either side of the urethra. This is called corpora cavernosa. In that, urethra is not present. This is called corpora cavernosa. Okay. Number 2 bundles located either side of urethra. They doesn't have urethra, either side of urethra. Okay. Now, you see, this is urethral meatus, right? This is urethral meatus. Then a sponge-like structure, another muscle which is a single bundle, This is called Carpora spongiosa. Carpora spongiosa. I am telling you students, this Carpora spongiosa is not present only at tip. It is running from its base of the penis, through which Carpora spongiosa, through which urethra passes through. So Carpora spongiosa, single bundle-like structure, single bundle through which urethra passes. Very important. There are two types of bundles are present. First type of bundle is Carpora cavernosa, where there is no urethra passes, and second is Carpora spongiosa, where urethra passes. If you see the transverse section of the penis, so in the transverse section of the penis, entire this is a tunica albuginea. Tunica albuginea, it is also present here. And here there are upper two bundles are present. Upper two bundles are present. There now simply these two are Carpora cavernosa. Whereas lower single bundle is present. Lower single bundle is present. Okay, this is called Carpora spongiosa. Through this Carpora spongiosa, urethra passes. This is urethra. You have seen two diagrams. This is LS and this is TS of penis. Okay. Apart from these two and some narrow vessels, blood vessels, lymph vessels are present. Penis used to erect due to the hormonal changes while the ejaculation of sperms. That time what happens from the blood vessel, suppose this is the blood vessel, this is the blood vessel. From the blood vessel during erection time, the blood fluids comes into the cavities, from all the cavities. Then these cavities, suppose normal time these cavities are like this. When blood entered, this cavity becomes swelled like this. So in the diagram already I shown that swallow structure. Normally they are present like this. This is normal size of bundle, whether it is a Carpora cavernosa or Carpora spongiosa. Carpora cavernosa or Carpora spongiosa size. During erection, okay, bundle size will be increased. As bundle size is increased, penis size will be increased. Okay, by the erection, sperms will be ejaculated out. Here, sometimes erection, this process is called erection. This process is called erection. See, erection failed in some human beings. Then that is called impotence. Impotency. In impotency, the person will become infertile. Impotent person can produce the sperms. And also in his body, sperms can travel from the site of production to ejaculation. But due to the absence of erection, some nervous problem or hormonal problem, sperms cannot be ejaculated out. The person is impotency. Impotency leads to infertility. Understand? Now, so these all are together called accessory reproductive organs or secondary reproductive structures of human being. Accessory duct system, accessory gland system, and male external genitalia. In the next class, I will discuss you about spermatogenesis, that is the physiology. With this I can say anatomy is completed. Primary structures, how many, where they are located, what is the internal structure and all. And secondary structures also. All structures we have learned. Now function. In human male, how sperms will be produced. and what is the structure of sperm. In the next session, I will discuss this. Okay, until that, please practice it and give the assignment. Thank you. All the best.